morning run. It's great. It's like a flood. Very wet and rainy today. That run, pretty sure LA is gonna float away. For LA standards, that's considered a flood. For other parts of the country, not so much. But for here, for sure a flood. So I got a question from you, and I like the question, and I'm going to, much like many of my other videos, I'm going to answer your questions. It's actually just going to be primarily one question, just because it's kind of a bigger question, but it's so good that I figured I would dedicate it, at least a portion of today's video, on this question. Cody asks, awesome stuff, bro. I have a question though. How do you become your own entity and market yourself for churches to hire you, or do you just play at different churches? So I'm gonna unpack the question a little bit. So in essence, when you're marketing yourself as a musician or as a drummer, you're marketing your playing and yourself as the product. Whenever you have a business or a service for anything, you have to answer two questions, or you have to do two things for a potential customer for them to consider to hire you. The first thing is going to be what you bring to the table, what your services offer to them. And the second is going to be, why do they need your services? There's a million other people offering the same service. Why do they need to go with you as opposed to Joe Blower or somebody else? And being a musician and playing for churches or other people, it's a little more nuanced than that. But at the heart and at its core, that's in essence what you're doing. You're basically presenting yourself, and you're presenting a solution to a problem that they may have. Now, if nobody has a drummer and they're looking for a drummer, then it's pretty obvious. Like if you're looking for a drummer or a guitarist and you happen to play drums or guitar, you're presenting yourself and you're offering them a pretty easy solution to filling the need that they have. But for churches, like, how do you actually do that? Like, do you literally just show up at somebody's doorstep and say, I have great drumming abilities and this is why you need me? Obviously that's not going to work. I'm going to share from my experiences what's typically worked for me. Obviously everybody, it largely depends on the type of person you are, and it largely depends on the kind of history with the instrument and your experiences. But I'll do my best to share what I've learned, and hopefully it can apply to you in some capacity. So for me, when I first started, I started playing at one church, and I served there for at least 2 years without playing anywhere else. And then after I started developing a reputation of being a solid drummer, a dependable person, and just a nice person to be around, that's when the friends that I made playing at that specific church started to ask me if I'd be interested in playing in other things. And so at the beginning of my career, I started very much word of mouth. It was very like, I have this friend that can play this, do you need him? And a lot of times they hired me without even hearing me play or audition. And that was kind of it. But I think for me, I've never really auditioned for a church. The only church I've ever auditioned for was Elevation. Every other church has seen me playing, been through word of mouth or something like that. I've never auditioned to play anywhere else. It's literally just been one church, and that's Elevation. And there's a couple reasons for that, I think. Going back to having a friend, like he can play drums and stuff like this, that gets your foot in the door, and that obviously answers the like, we need a drummer, this guy's presenting us a drummer, that it fixes that problem. But then you go back to the first stage, or whatever I called it, and that is your ability. Like, can you actually play, or can you deliver on what this person is claiming? And I think for me, the reason I never had to really audition is because I put a lot of my content online, primarily Instagram and YouTube. So a lot of times when I was put in contact with people, my Instagram would actually be added in the text thread so that they could scroll through and see what kind of drummer I am and how I play and everything else. And that was kind of my audition. So going back to the marketing yourself portion of it, my career started just purely from word of mouth, but it quickly evolved from just word of mouth to being booked from Instagram and from YouTube and stuff like that. And that still happens to me today. Like whether it be a live gig or a recording gig, people see my content online, they like the product that I offer, and they end up wanting to hire me. So I think starting out, word of mouth and just being like having a good close friend group is super important to get your name out there. A lot of times, like if you're a wedding photographer or something like that, a lot of wedding photographers, the first couple of weddings they shoot are free or at a severely discounted rate, or they're at a friend's or whatever. They're not making a lot of money, and that's purely to get your foot in the door like every other career. And then the ball starts rolling, and you can charge more and raise your rates, and your business starts to kind of emerge, if that makes sense. Same thing with drums. You initially have to like do a couple of things for free, or just do things just because you have friends that are doing things, and eventually through projects and experiences you can start raising your rates and your business starts to form itself. So to answer your question, I don't really as far as like marketing to churches, it's a lot of it is purely just from internet stuff or just word of mouth. And I'm not gonna lie, the Elevation thing and playing at Elevation really does help me personally. Not because that just means that I'm gonna be the best drummer in the world. It just means that I'm a dependable drummer, and playing at a church like that kind of lets the person hiring you know that you're gonna be solid, you're gonna be professional, and you're gonna show up ready to go. So Cody, to answer your question in short, I just started playing with friends because I loved it, and eventually through word of mouth, in a combination with word of mouth and then advertising myself on the internet, like Instagram and YouTube, my business slowly started forming. The music industry is vastly and is dominated by personal relationships over anything else. Like you can have the best marketing and Instagram stuff in the world, but if you don't have the relationship part, you're not going to see a lot of fruit. But not to say that the Instagram or the marketing part isn't important, because like I said, that's almost like your audition. The relationships is the foot in the door for the audition, if that makes sense. All right, I'm gonna go inside because the rain is now hitting me from the side, and it's cold too. So and it's picking up. I don't know if you can hear that. It stopped raining for like 2 seconds, so I decided to go on a walk. If you've watched the vlog for any amount of time, you know that I get kind of weird when it comes to just staying inside all the time. And coming to California, I expected to not be inside, but the rain is... I'm getting some outdoors time like a 5-year-old. Looking at the weather app on my phone, it looks like I have about 10 minutes before it's supposed to again, so I'm gonna have to make this a quick walk. You see the color of that palm tree? Like the branch right there? I don't understand why it would be black or whatever color that is. Normally they're tan or light brown. Never seen that before. One thing that I really appreciate about LA is just how much art and just urban art there is. Like, I love Nashville, but just LA has like this color and this vibrance. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's there, and I really do enjoy it. I wonder what the point of this fence is if you already have a gate right there. I can't think of any instance why that would there has to be a reason. Alright, it's been a couple of hours. After I went on my walk, it actually started to downpour. So I didn't shoot anything because I needed to get home. But now I've I've been home for a couple hours working on actually this vlog. I want to go back outside. Like it's not raining out there, and I'm in California. I mean, come on. I totally thought this was like a metal stake. It's just wood. It did look like metal though, right? So recently I've been trying something a little bit different with these vlogs and like how I edit them. Normally with the vlogs, I'll shoot all day and then spend the next morning to like early afternoon editing what I shot the previous day. But recently, what I've been doing is I've been shooting a little, editing, shooting a little, editing, shooting a little, editing, and editing throughout the day as I shoot. And honestly, I think it may, makes the story a little bit better. Just because like I can shoot things and try like different things. I think it makes the videos better. But let me know what you think. Like if you don't like the way the videos are, then let me know. If you do, please let me know. I think it makes it better. Wonder if that horseshoe's lucky. What the heck do you think this thing is for? It's like some kind of... Whatever it's for, it clearly got out, and that doesn't work very well. So Savannah and I have really been tossing around the idea of like what it would look like for us moving back to LA. Not that we don't love Nashville or anything like that. We've just been like toying around the idea like what that actually would look like if we like really did commit to wanting to move back here. And financially how that would work, how the business would like transfer over from being a Nashville-based business to an LA-based business. We haven't got anywhere with the talking. It's mostly just like theoretical. Like there's no like practical steps being taken or on either way, like staying or leaving. Those talks are being had. Mostly just out of curiosity, just because we have family here again, and yeah. Trying not to get hit. Whoa. I don't think that's supposed to be like that. It's like... You know, this may not come as a surprise to you, or it might, I don't know. Growing up, I used to always like take nightly walks, and my biggest gripe with Tennessee, like the humidity, like all that stuff, it makes it pale in comparison to this, is there's barely any sidewalks anywhere. So if you want to go on a walk or a run or anything else, you're either running in a ditch or you're running on the asphalt with all of the other cars. That's why I have don't hit me bands, bright colored shoes, and I even now have a flashlight that clips on my hat, all in an effort to not get picked off by cars when I'm walking and or running. I know I'm kind of harshing on Tennessee pretty hard right now. I love the town, don't get me wrong, but just you need more sidewalks, man. All right, it's starting to rain, so I need to walk myself back home. I know it did seem like I was harshing on Tennessee. I love you, Tennessee, but can you add some more sidewalks, please?